What is going on, everybody? We are back. Tornado Tag. I always want to say podcast, but I'm trying to drop that moniker. But the Tornado Tag on ABJ podcast. ABJ, BP Burke on the call once again. So we will be doing this probably every Thursday at 8:05 Eastern p.m. Eastern time. There may be some Thursdays where we'll not be live because Thursdays are usually Pilguru wrestling nights, so we try to make those events, or we're trying to build up a little bit of a wrestling community at Pilguru. So if you guys listen to this and you're local, please come through and hang out at Pilguru nights. Maybe we'll film something those days at Pilguru and then air it like for a future episode in the future. Maybe we'll just pick like a random topic and have everyone at Wrestling Club talk and be on camera, and then we could air that as a future episode if we're not going to be live again. Like we'll air a Pro Wrestling Club episode. You know what I mean?
I may or may not have been there 45 minutes ago. I can either
I'm jealous.
I'm
Actually, I can't have the Pottsville beers I want, but I can settle for the next best thing.
One of these? One of these, you mean?
I'll literally take anything, but Pottsville Pilsner is amazing. But I have the other version of that same beer. I got a Yingling Light Lager. All right, we're going to crack that open. We have so much to talk about. We're going to cover. So for the most part, the show is going to be mostly what's going on right now in professional wrestling. So major news topics. We're going to try to throw in what the people on the internet are saying, or like the wrestling community, and try to give our takes on what's happening there. Maybe people like it, maybe we don't. Also, what major storylines are going. Currently, for me, I don't know about BP, I am not watching NXT, TNA, or SmackDown right now. They're the three shows I'm kind of skipping on, only because I want to try to enjoy my Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Tuesdays I'm gonna be doing interviews again. Thursdays we're here. So that's currently I'm just watching Raw and AEW. But then when pay-per-views come, I will watch every pay-per-view. Plus a lot of wrestling right now for me. I don't even think I need to watch Mondays, to be honest, because I'll just wait for pay-per-view and it'll recap it all for me. And I'll start right there with my first little bit of topic. BP, these no finishes on Monday Night Raw are driving me insane. 3 weeks in a row, the main event ends in DQ. It's just every single week we're doing that. And it's like, why did I waste 2.5 hours of this? Like, I look at your card and I go, I'm not getting excited for 50% of these cards because it's going to end in a screwy finish. That's the only way they seem they can progress the storyline.
Yeah, and it's also when you don't want people losing and you're trying to protect everybody, nobody gets over. So there's
100 people in catering you're not using at all. Send them out to lose.
Right, we're not going to put those guys in the main event, though.
Yeah, exactly. But no, what I'm saying is yes, you can. You can put. If you put Seth Rollins versus Malachi can take a loss right now. He's not doing anything. But a Seth Malachi match where you can let them go and Malachi puts his shoulders on the mat and takes a loss is a great main event. Like, he's not a guy that's in the main event picture, but there's a lot of talented people you can go out there and let wrestle. I think that's where AEW, for me, where they may lack in story, makes up for it on television. Because, like, Moxley versus Speedball, for me, give me that all day long. Moxley versus Speedball's partner right now.
Kevin Knight,
Kevin Knight, great matchup. Like, there's guys that they can take losses. They know that Mox is the top guy. You're going to get pinned. If you want to do some screwy stuff to tell stories afterwards, fine. But send somebody out there to take a loss and make your big guy look big.
Yeah, or at least try to not be quite as repetitive. Like, WWE is very, they're running into that trap of being very samey. Every episode is they're in a holding pattern right now. They have this Clash in Paris thing coming up, but that's not really a major pay-per-view. Like, we have everything now. We have our framework of what it's going to look like. You're going to have your 4-way for the World Heavyweight title. Seems like you might have Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre on the SmackDown side. Yeah. But there's a lot of sameness. There's a lot of it's interesting because I think the two main companies have opposite problems where AEW tries to do too much and WWE doesn't try to do enough. And it's really indicative of their pay-per-views where, WWE pay-per-view is 2.5, 3 hours long and has 4 or 5 matches. And an AEW pay-per-view was 5.5 hours long and has 15. It's like there's no happy medium. There's no 3-hour show with 8 matches anymore.
And I'm going to be honest. I enjoy the AEW pay-per-views more than the WWE pay-per-views. I think the last couple main main pay-per-views in WWE were not that great. They weren't like shows that blew me away or I felt like I didn't need to watch it. But let's get straight into that. We'll get into that topic in a moment, but let's get into the biggest news probably since we've been gone and everything like that. We had a pretty big wrestling death. Now this is going to be a 50-50 booking on this one because I'm going to try to play it to my ability of being honest and truthful, but I'm also going to talk about it from a wrestling standpoint. So we did lose the immortal Hulk Hogan. I'm not putting any adjectives on that, but we lost Hulk Hogan to a heart attack. What they're saying, I mean, VP,
leukemia, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're saying leukemia.
Yeah,
there was something else going on there. I don't know.
He had neck surgery. Yeah, I mean, obviously a very divisive person. First and foremost, when you firmly take a side in politics, like Hulk Hogan has done, you're guaranteeing that 35% of the country will hate you.
But here's my thing. The politics thing, sure. The problem is he was known more as just as much as his wrestling as he was for the things he said about people of color.
Yeah.
And then he chose a political side that is kind of under fire right now for not treating people of color and majority like lesser than people or I don't want to say lesser than people, but people of there's a word I'm trying to say here. I just can't think of it. Marginalized people. They treat marginalized people really shitty, and he chose that side. So he's known for saying stuff about marginalized people himself, but then chose the political side that's also leading into that aspect, and he grifted to the wrong people, and that's just not the wrestling fan right now.
Yeah, no, it's not, and that is something where, I mean, that's the MMA fan right now, but yeah, that's a whole different story. But no, yeah, the wrestling, especially on the indies, especially on like the diehard side of the wrestling community, it does tend to skew pretty left. And yeah, there's a lot of backlash to Hulk Hogan, and rightfully so. And like the stuff he was caught on hidden camera saying is indefensible, and
on police body cams and
yeah, it's indefensible, and it's something where it did taint his legacy. But I mean, if you look at just strictly the legacy, it's the most famous wrestler of all time. And yeah, that's what's so weird about it. It's like hearing that Batman died. If Batman had a very checkered past, and maybe I didn't agree with everything Batman thought about politically, but it's like Superman died. It's like Hulk Hogan can't die. He's Hulk Hogan, especially if you're of a certain age, and I am of a certain age. If you came into wrestling somewhere before 1990, if you came into wrestling and the first three letters of the year were 198, Hulk Hogan means something to you more than likely, whether you like them or not.
I mean, I totally agree, 100%. His legacy's there, but like, I just wasn't a Hulk guy. I never was. I always leaned more towards the bad guy and the mid-carders. Hulk Hogan, as a young fan to me, I did not subscribe to the Hulkamaniac side. And I think the other thing that really upsets me, as much as the racism and everything like that, is just the way he conducted himself in the business, how he like lied about everything, how he purposely tried to hold people back and not allow people to go up. And honestly,
I would never support a wrestler that would do that.
You know what I mean? It just bothers me. Like he had all the bargaining chips at the top of the ladder. And I feel like a lot of the disgusting culture that is the WWE and the way the WWE kind of, it's hard for me to root for that company sometimes because of their checkered past, is 100% because of Vince and Hogan's era. They set the tone
let's trim what you said. It's 100% because of Vince. It's 100%.
I just feel like they both had the ball in their court and they ran with it. You know what I mean? Like Vince had way more than Hogan, 100%. Vince is definitely the ringleader, but Hogan was second in command.
Well, yeah, well, Hogan was the goose that was laying the golden egg, and Vince was the guy that owned the goose. So yeah, it that was the situation there.
Now, what we know about pro wrestling, where the booker and the owner and all that can affect storylines, and you're going to make the audience like who you want to like at the end of the day. That's the genius of Vince McMahon. Could it have been anybody else, or did it have to be Hulk Hogan?
There's maybe that's something that's been like debated about historically. Like if they couldn't have gotten Hulk Hogan, if Hulk Hogan would have stayed in Japan, if he would have stayed in the AWA, if he would have went to movies and actually done well and not, kind of fell on his face after Rocky III, who would have been the guy? And people have said Dusty Rhodes, but I don't know if Dusty Rhodes would have. I don't know if Dusty Rhodes would have worked as well as Hogan worked, because Hogan was very much of his time. Hogan was very much of the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, larger than life, muscles on top of muscles. That was what sold in the 80s. Now, Dusty Rhodes is one of the most maybe the most charismatic wrestler of all time. In my opinion, he's the best babyface that ever lived. However, I think Hulk Hogan was the right guy in the right place in the right time with the right partner. I think Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan was a combination that worked, and nothing would have worked as well as that.
And Hogan was smart enough to know to keep his mouth shut and just listen to Vince and just do what he was told.
To a degree, and I think he had a little more agency than that. Well, yeah, until he went to Hollywood and then he left, and the steroid scandal and WWE kind of being a dirty word, and then he became very close with Eric Bischoff and kind of did the same thing in WCW. But Hogan came from an era where everybody was protective of their spot. Everybody was, for the most part. There were people just would do whatever you wanted them to do. But I mean, at every level, professional wrestling, for the most part, is a me business, not a we business. Whether you're on an independent circuit, whether you're in the middle ground, whether you're in the WWE or AEW, for the most part, people are in it for themselves. They're in it to try to get themselves over. They're in it to try to, and it's very rare when you get a person that is going to
so hard.
It's very rare when you get a person that is going to do, take one for the team and do something for the betterment of the group. And yeah, so it's something where Hogan was kind of an embodiment of that. But it goes back to the days of like before Hogan, when you had to put your title belt on a Lou Thesz, who was a legitimately good wrestler, because you didn't know if somebody was going to double cross him in the ring that night. Now, obviously, by the time Vince is taking control of things, that's kind of gone by the wayside for the most part. I mean, you had that to the point where it became a story when it wasn't the case. When Bruiser Brody came into the cage with Lex Luger with razor blades on his fingers. But yeah, I don't know. To your question was, if not Hogan, who, or would it have worked as well with anybody else? No. Hulk Hogan was the right guy in the right venue with the right promoter at the right time.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm. And that's anything in any business, any industry. It's pretty much, you said right place, right time. It just has to click. And when it does, it does. Hopefully one day we have our moment. But anyway, let's get into SummerSlam, BP. Big show for WWE that just recently happened. I'm not going to go through the whole card unless there's any match that really stood out for you. I'm going to be honest. It was a fine card. If I had to give it a score out of 10, 6. I don't think it's a SummerSlam I'd go back and watch. I think both nights ending cliffhangers are definitely what people are going to talk about for the future of that show. We had Seth Rollins faking the injury to cash in and leave as the world champion. I love it. Great story. I'm excited for the Seth Rollins stuff. And then the return of Brock Lesnar. Now, the first question I have before we get into the Brock Lesnar stuff, what do you feel about the faking of the injury? Are you a fan of it? Are you not a fan of it? Do you think it's immoral to tell the fans someone's hurt?
No.
I don't either, right? It's pro wrestling.
It's a work. Yeah. It's a work. It's wrestling. No, yes. Why would it be?
I don't understand the internet wrestling community saying it's grimy and dirty to fake injuries. Now, I think it's dirty and grimy to fire 15 people and then fire another one, but then bring them back in story. I think that sucks, but fake injuries have been the lifeblood of pro wrestling forever.
Are you kidding me? It's wrestling. That's the lifeblood of wrestling. That's it's funny. I've had this discussion on a smaller scale with people where, you'll run into people occasionally in wrestling fans occasionally, again, at any level, small or large, where it's like, I think they think it's real. Like, I think they believe. And I remember talking to a wrestler one time in a locker room, and I'm like, I'm jealous of them. I wish I could, if there was a pill you could take, like a kayfabe pill, where you could forget the wrestling business as a work, I would take it before every wrestling show I watched. Can you imagine how fun it would be if you believed, and how great it is when they get you and they do pull the fast one over you?
I think it's funny when they do worker, like when they work people who think they're smart fans, or you see them
Yeah.
subscribe to something, you're like, boy, this is clearly not real, and
Yeah.
you're sucking into it.
Yeah, I mean that was my big takeaway from that WWE Unreal show on Netflix. I'm like, this is kayfabe. Like they're
Yeah.
pulling back the curtain a little bit more, but they still want you to believe that Seth Rollins and CM Punk really don't like each other. Like, no, this is just a new layer of kayfabe.
There's elements to that show that I do really like, though, and maybe I'm being worked on this one, but like, I'll kind of dive into a little bit with the Unreal, because I like the idea. I mean, we've had this conversation. I think that's kind of important to document certain things in wrestling where you kind of pull back the curtain, just because I think in wrestling right now, to get new fans, just from my experience, is you let fans then kind of feel like they're in on it a little bit, because I think the idea of telling them that this is a real fight and this is all, I think that whole idea of wrestling is dead and gone. You got to tell them it's theater. You got to tell them it's a show. Come enjoy a show. Come enjoy theater. These are people performing, and you give that respect of how hard it is to do what they do instead of trying to trick the audience. That's my opinion in 2025. I know a lot of wrestling fans don't agree, but as a journalist and someone who doesn't wrestle, I think there's elements of pro wrestling that I wish more people can see, that I'm fortunate enough to be able to see, being in the situations I'm in, being backstage in the locker rooms and meeting professional wrestlers that have come from TV, that are working their way up to TV. And I just think there's really beautiful moments that I just wish more people would see. And I thought one of them was CM Punk. When CM Punk was genuinely emotional because he was about to go out there and main event at WrestleMania, that hit for me. I was like, fuck, man, like, good for him. You know what I mean? And then when Triple H goes, you've always been a main event guy, and he looks at him right in the eye and like goes, I know. I've known this whole time. I'm just really thankful that now you see it. Like that.
Yeah, it was you and your father-in-law didn't know.
Broke me. That fucking broke me, because it's so hard to not be deemed the asshole and just stick to your guns on how you feel or how you want to create your art. And in this business, it's fucking hard. It's really hard.
I also think we're getting worked there a little bit. That was a very, very meticulously put together Triple H puff piece. It was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was a cool, like, just to, in so much as anything on reality, quote unquote reality TV is real. It is what it is, but it was like a puff piece for Triple H.
Yeah, they're trying to make him look like Dana White.
Well, they're trying to make you forget Vince and say, oh, this is the guy. This is the man behind the curtain. This is the man that's pulling the strings. This is the guy.
Yeah. All right. The Brock Lesnar return. Wrestling fans are essentially saying he didn't do anything wrong. He never met a girl. He never did anything. It's all been cleared. TKO has crossed their T's, dotted their I's. Brock Lesnar should be back. This is what we want. Where do you lie on this?
I'm kind of sick of Brock Lesnar. Like, he's just going to come in and suplex people and have the same match he's had for the last 5 years.
I will say this. When Brock has to come in and do the job and sell and make that character, they're really good matches. When Brock, like lately, like SummerSlam Brock, when he was out there just having fun with the crowd and generally looked like he had a good time being there and working with Roman on this final run, it was a really fun time to watch Brock Lesnar. I understand he like, to me, this is, maybe I sound like a Hogan fan that pisses me off, but I think Brock is bigger and better than Andre. Like, when people say Andre was that enigma in professional wrestling that can never be recreated, I think Brock surpassed it. I think Brock is everything Andre wish he could have been, minus his size. I think Brock has been one of the biggest entertaining pieces, biggest draws, biggest anything in just sports entertainment and just general, just because he's a freak of nature. But so him coming in is great for storylines, because when he has to work and he has to sell, and when he loses, it means something. Especially, you can tell when he needs to lose and he cares about the person, he'll do the job. That being said, you want to clear your name of your company. You want to delete all this bad publicity. You want to make women feel safe in your locker room. You want to make women feel like they're secure. Not a good move to bring Brock Lesnar back right now in 2025 after everything's going on and still the investigation's happening, in my opinion.
I think culturally we're at a point where a lot of corporations have determined that nobody cares anymore, because of who's in the White House and because of a lot of things that are going on in the political climate. And I'm going to try to be very sensitive with how I say things here. I think there's this thing of like, oh, like that whole cancel culture thing is kind of dead.
Yeah. The problem is I think cancel culture was good. And I think some of the liberal movements and liberal ways of trying to change the way we speak and say words that we shouldn't say, and just be respectful to one another is fine. But then, just like every other movement, just like every other thing, I think people on the far side of the left go way, way, way too far, and they push really hard, and they're the spokesperson and voices. And I've been telling even you for a long time, I said, when this turns on a dime, it's going to turn hard, and we're going to revert back harder than we ever did. And I think that culture created what we now have right now with Donald Trump and these podcast bros out there just saying whatever they want to say, and it just changed pop culture. Real quick in the chat, we will get to some of you guys in the chat, but we are keeping this more podcast format. But someone did say in the chat, TNA brought Tessa back. There's not an audio document of Tessa saying anything she said. It's all he said, she said. So I don't really, the Tessa one's a little tough for me. I mean, I personally had conversations. BP was there when I sat down with Tessa and I said, what actually happened? And she was very forthcoming and honest about the whole thing. And she said, listen, I'll apologize for everything I did. Did I try to fight a girl? All that? Yes. I never said that anything racial. I mean, she's been in interracial relationships, I think, the last 4 relationships she's been in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not, maybe she is. I don't know. But I wasn't there. But I think Tessa's a little tougher because it's a lot of he said, she said, where a lot of stuff that with Brock, that's court document. That's there. There's text messages. You know what I mean? Like Hogan is on audio. Like, I think it's a tough analogy to compare the two.
But you also have like a lot of powerful people like Peter Thiel, who Hulk Hogan teamed up with to take down Gawker. Like, he was Peter Thiel. Hulk Hogan was his Trojan horse to fund the effort to bring down Gawker that succeeded. And Peter Thiel is one of the most powerful men in America. He's basically the guy pulling the strings on the vice president of the United States right now. So there's and it is that pendulum effect that culture has, where if it swings really hard one way, it's inevitably going to swing back the other way. And right now we're in a swing in that direction. We're in a swing where, Stephen Colbert gets fired, but Brock Lesnar comes back. And that's
wild.
That's
right?
kind of where, and that just happens to be where we're at right now.
Yeah, I feel helpless because just talking about it anymore doesn't even do anything. It's just like wasting your breath. It's like, all right, you guys win. I just hope you're on the right side of history, because in 10 years when we talk about it, I'm going to be like, remember when y'all fucking idiots were? But anyway, it's going to be a while before people have to eat their shoe, but I think we're going to go through some shit before it happens. Triple H, last thing on politics, I promise, and we will get away from it, but it kind of goes hand in hand right now. This is stuff that for us as wrestling fans is important. If it's not important to you, I understand. I respect it. But to me, right now, our president, and maybe we're getting canceled off the internet for saying this, is kind of under investigation. Well, maybe not. He's not really under investigation. It looks like they're trying to doctor everything to make sure it's not going to happen. But he's alleged to be in one of the largest pedophile sex trafficking rings in our country, in the history of the world. It's that big. It's insane. And so many rich, powerful people are on it. Our president's supposed to be, may or may not be on it. It's looking like he is. But we're never going to see it. And then they're going to put a podium up there. Maybe your boy on the Eagles get a little blowback on this too. You have, 2 powerful people on stage. And then right kind of in the middle of all of them is Lawrence Taylor, who's actually on a registry for doing things with underage girls. Like, read the fucking room, Triple H. Like, how do you go on TV and say we're not about religion, we're not about politics, we're moving forward, we're not about any of that, and then stand on stage next to those 2 people right now, the same fucking month span you bring Brock Lesnar back? Like, it's just not a good look. And like, I'm trying not to let that side affect my wrestling brain. But man, I lost some fucking love and respect for that man when he stood on that stage there. Not the Trump thing aside, Lawrence Taylor's out there. That's not even a fucking secret.
Yeah, no, not a great look. Not a great look.
It's horrible. I don't know if you want to dive into it anymore, but that was just something I wanted to bring up that bothered me.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where I hate that we have to talk about this shit because
it sucks. It fucking sucks because I don't want to be a wrestling fan who talks about this stuff, but it's there. Right. And then when you put it on the screen at SummerSlam, like, you're proud of it. Like, bro, you're standing next to a guy who's on the sex registry for hurting children, and people are in this audience watching your product, and it's made for children.
And it's funny because the one guy who really did recognize that was Vince. Who is friends with Trump and who personal friends with Trump, and knew that, like, if we put him all over our TV, like the sitting president in his first term was a WWE Hall of Famer, and they never talked about it ever. And this is a company that is probably the most desperate for publicity company that has ever existed, and is WWE. They live off of hearing their name mentioned. But when Vince was in power, it was always no, because it's the same thing I said earlier. As soon as you take a side politically, as soon as you even hint at endorsing somebody politically, you're alienating 35% of your audience.
Yeah.
35% of your audience is going to disagree with you, and if they're really, really, really into it, they're going to dislike you. They're going to be turned away from it. And Vince never wanted that to happen. Like the closest they came to putting their hat in the political ring was like the Smackdown Your Vote campaign, and that was bipartisan. Like they were inviting everybody on. That was in 2008. They had Barack Obama on. They had Hillary Clinton on. They had John McCain on. It was just more about getting their name out there. But it seems like, especially now, because this is a political regime that is very, very willing and open about, politicizing their office, and throwing around power to the point where the reason Colbert got fired probably is so that Skydance merger of Skydance buying Paramount would go through. It's like, oh, this guy makes fun of the president, get rid of him.
And then South Park goes high him.
Well, because they don't care. They just don't care.
Well, they just got the $1 billion contract. They're like, ha, gotcha.
Yeah. So and they've never cared, and they never will care, and they're going to go after everybody because they're the one. That's like the one person. That's the one show left that really does, or the one like piece of mainstream art left that really does take the whole idea of speaking truth to power seriously, no matter who's in power.
Yeah.
Is South Park. But I think it's a very calculated move by TKO, but to say, okay, we see the way the wind's blowing, we're going to play nice with this administration. So they're trying to do some things. And this really has very little to do with wrestling. It actually has everything to do with boxing. It has everything to do with boxing because TKO, and I'm not completely up to speed on this, but TKO is really aggressively lobbying to get rid of some laws that are in place about who can promote boxing matches, because TKO is going to try to take over boxing next. They have wrestling, they have MMA, boxing is next, and they're partnering with the Saudi Public Investment Fund, and they are making some moves politically. So this whole thing is them buttering up the administration because they know that, this is a very ego-driven administration, more so that every politician is ego-driven, but this one more than any other. So the Ali Act is the name of
Thank you, Seafood.
So I think it's all very calculated. I think it's all about, buttering up this administration so we can get what we want politically. And if they take a PR hit, so be it. Because everybody's kissing the ring right now. We're just another one in line.
More, I guess, TKO news reloading on WWE is the deal of ESPN getting all of the PLE starting in 2026. Starting with
WrestleMania,
starting with WrestleMania, and pretty much they're kind of saying that mostly all main events will be 2 nights. There's even rumors saying that one night of main event WrestleMania will be in one city and the other one be in another. That's kind of being shopped around.
It's like WrestleMania 2.
Because they want to give a WrestleMania to the Saudis, but they don't want to give away a show in the United States, so they'll probably give Saudi Arabia Friday night and they'll take Saturday. But yeah, so a lot of alarm bells are going off, for wrestling fans saying, well, that's $30 a month. That's insane. Like I'm used to paying 10. So there is a workaround around this. If you are part of the Hulu deal, the Hulu Disney Plus ESPN deal, you're covered. You're good to go. If that's your thing. That's me. I have Hulu Live TV, which also gives me ESPN and Disney Plus. I'm good. I know that doesn't apply to everybody, but it does kind of suck from a wrestling consumer that you have to pay for Netflix, live TV service, which would cover either that. Live TV anyway to get SmackDown, NXT, and all that. Then possibly ESPN for $30, and then like and then Peacock if you want to watch the tape library. So there's a lot that you need to kind of be a wrestling fan right now in 2026, and this economy's kind of shitty, right?
Well, let's see where the tape library goes, because I think that's going to come up too. Maybe Peacock keeps it. Maybe I wonder how much of that might just go to YouTube if they can get the ad revenue off of the vault. So that WWE Vault, that's my favorite wrestling thing of the year. The wrestling promotion of the year is WWE Vault for me. They are doing some great stuff on that channel. I love it. I love it. I love it. But the big thing is money. It all comes back to money. It's never about the customer. It's never about making it easier for the customer, because they had that. They had it. That it was a WWE Network. It had everything. It was $10 a month, and I miss it. But Peacock is basically the same approximation. There's stuff on Peacock that I like. There's stuff on Peacock that I really do enjoy. They still have, and there's also the NXT pay-per-views. They're a separate package. All that they're really giving ESPN for that, and they got a lot of money for it, is 10 events a year. Obviously, some of them might be 2 nights, but it's going to be like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and whatever ones are in between. Clash in Paris, Clash in Budapest, wherever they're clashing. It's going to be on there. Super Showdown, probably the Saudi Arabia shows.
Yeah. Well, how about the fact wrestling so I was not a wrestling fan for majority of the Ruthless Aggression and early modern era. I came back probably around the time we started podcasting, like 8 years ago. That was when I kind of dove back into wrestling. Like, I want to start watching wrestling and do wrestling content. But at the time, before that, I was a giant UFC fan, and I was paying $60 to $80 a month, sometimes multiple times a month, to get pay-per-views because I was a MMA fan. In 2026, it's going to be cheaper to be a UFC fan than a WWE fan.
Paramount Plus, you get everything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Paramount Plus, I believe, starts at like $9 a month. It's even cheaper than the WWE Network if you want the ad version.
Now, is Paramount getting the UFC library?
I would imagine so.
Like, if the UFC app goes away and it just goes over to Paramount, Paramount, I like Paramount because I like the old NX, I like the old MTV, I like the old Comedy Central stuff. Like, there's stuff on Paramount I like. RuPaul's Drag Race is on there. There's some good shows on Paramount. But when the whole Paramount, like, hey, we're getting rid of woke content and it's going to be all like that, scares the shit out of me. And I was like, I'm going to stay away from Paramount. But then they're like, hey, you want to go watch UFC pay-per-views for $10? I'm like, I haven't watched UFC pay-per-view in months, but next year I might subscribe because that's a fucking good deal.
They're also who gave South Park that $1.5 billion. So they're buttering both sides of the bread. They're buttering both sides of the bread there. But it's also just big money. It's Paramount was recently just bought by Skydance Media, and Skydance Media is run by I believe his first name is David. I know his last name is Ellison, and his father, Larry Ellison, is the owner of Oracle, and he is the second richest man in the world behind Elon Musk. So their pockets run very, very deep. So like people are like, oh, they're paying $7.7 billion. It's like when Tony Khan pays somebody $10 million. It's like, no, his dad can cover it with pocket change. They can find that in the couch cushion.
Yeah, totally. It's interesting. It's going to be 2026. Media rights are going to be wild.
Yeah. The WWE one's going to be more interesting for me, I think, just because of what live TV services do and do not have that. I mean, the service is coming out in a few weeks. It's coming out, I think, next week. I believe the 21st and the 22nd is the actual rollout date for it because they want it out for the football season, because ESPN also just acquired the NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. So NFL Red Zone might be a part of this ESPN app.
So is the Red Zone kind of like where they'll show any footage live as long as it's in the Red Zone type deal?
Right. They show, like, they'll show all the touchdowns. They'll show, I know for a while it was always like they would say 7 hours of commercial free football, but they're talking about putting commercials in now. And that was before they even wound up that was before they even wound up doing this ESPN deal. Yeah. But yeah, basically
NFL Sunday Ticket's still too goddamn expensive though. That is wild to me that 4 payments of $30 or something like that.
It's more than that, I think. It used to be a few hundred.
It's crazy.
NFL Sunday Ticket is, if you're really, really, really obsessed with a team and you can't get them in your local market. Like and you don't have a bar that you can go to watch it. Like when I lived in North Jersey, if an Eagles game wasn't on TV, I would go to a bar and watch it. I'd probably spend it.
Is $276 for the season.
For Sunday Ticket?
For Sunday Ticket, yeah.
I think it used to be more than that.
For new users, returning users. So you get it for one season for $276. 12 payments of $23, 12 monthly payments $23. If you're a returning user, $480.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of gamblers like it.
What you do is you just draft a really good quarterback, and then you go from 1 or 2 televised games a year to 8 the next year.
Yeah. If you just want to watch your team, get one of these live TV services and a VPN, and say you're in Washington D.C. if you're a Commanders fan, or say where you're wherever. Luckily, like here where we are, I'm an Eagles fan, and you get most of the Eagles games unless they're on CBS at the same time as the Steelers, and they play the stupid Steelers for some reason.
Yeah,
maybe not now because the Steelers are yesterday's news, and the Eagles are the champions of the world.
Maybe Steelers maybe tough this year. I don't know. All right, let's get out of there. One more TV type deal, BP. This just actually got rumored a couple hours before we went live. I'm not even sure if you're aware of this. Heavy rumors coming out of a lot of major sources that TNA is going to be possibly moving from Thursdays to Wednesdays to counteract AEW, and it's essentially going to be funded and provided on a WWE affiliated network. People are talking CW. So maybe this is WWE trying to play more ball with TNA to be like, hey, we want you to be the number 2 company because we're in bed with you, and let's try to eliminate our competition. Yeah,
because Anthem doesn't have the pockets that Tony Khan does. So that's very plausible. And they also see TNA as basically AA ball now. Like your AAA ball is NXT, your AA ball is going to be AAA, TNA, that level. Your single A ball, rookie ball is going to be ID, GCW, that kind of thing. So they're really developing like a farm system, a baseball style farm system where people can work. And I mean, look at TNA right now. The TNA champion, the TNA women's champion are both NXT talents signed to WWE. It's Trick Williams and JC Jane,
which makes this thing really, really thing. What I will say that this is good for me as a wrestling fan is if it's on CW, I don't have to watch it then, and I can watch it later as a replay on my live TV service because TNA wasn't on any, like, it's not on Hulu, it's not on YouTube unless you have to pay a premium subscription for TNA services. And I think it's actually pretty affordable, to be honest. Like it if you really want to watch TNA, you don't really have to come out of pocket for it. And I think for an extra like $10 a month, they'll throw in the pay-per-view for the month too.
I think that's only some pay-per-views. I think the larger ones now, they don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
But no, and it's tricky for me because I don't have Access TV at all. I have YouTube TV. Access TV isn't even a part of it.
Yes, neither. It's not on Hulu either.
And
Access TV has no access to pretty much major markets. I think you need Sling. It's on Sling TV.
Yeah, it's on a lot of cable systems. It's the old HD net. And it's funny because Anthem, the parent company of TNA, owns the station. So it's interesting that they're going to another. I wonder if they're going to try to sell it off.
Because I think that's the move. I think 2020 TNA is bought out by WWE and they have the library.
Maybe. I don't know if it's worth it for WWE for what the asking price would be. I think WWE is just fine with what they do now, where they just have to kind of give them talent and help them broker deals, and they can basically have their run of the place. I don't think TNA's tape library is really worth anything. We're not selling DVDs anymore. If they want footage of AJ Styles, I'm sure all they have to do is ask for it at this point.
That's true.
I mean, to that point, Abyss is in the video game. He was DLC. Abyss never wrestled as Abyss and never wrestled, period, unless he did like a dark matches.
I think the New Jack, they put his and TNA version in the video game too.
Well, yeah, they're not going to get Natural Born Killers, but Abyss is in the video game, and it says TNA music. It's this entire TNA presentation. So I think they're getting everything they want out of TNA right now without having to like cut.
Getting the milk and the cow for free.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think there's enough in it for them to actually just flat out buy it.
I wasn't going to touch on this one, but I'm sure we can quick glaze over it. But pretty much WWE is announcing they're pretty much in the counter program the fuck out of AEW going forward. Yeah. This we are talking about Wednesdays here, but they're pretty much saying they're going to counter program Forbidden Door. They're going to counter program All In. They're going to, like, every major show they're doing, they're going to try to put a match on against it, which sucks as a wrestling fan that you have to choose, but it's also good as a wrestling fan because competition is good for both sides. Just wrestling fans. Here's the biggest thing I'm going to tell wrestling tribalistic fans that are listening. You don't need to be tribalistic. If you don't like another company, that's fine, but you don't want the other company to fail, because when we've seen WWE, when it has no competition, it doesn't give a shit, and you will watch horrible fucking programming for the first 3 or 4 years of our podcast. Was like, when does this AEW start? Because this programming on WWE, we pretty much made fun of it every week. It was bad. Early episodes of Tornado Tag were a blast. Just doing the Vince impersonations of just how bad the booking was, like crazy.
So what I want to do is I want to take Roman Reigns and have him beat everyone.
Yeah.
All at once.
What's this team name? Oh, they're the War Raiders. The Vikings.
Not anymore, they're not, pal. The Viking experience is it's like, oh my god. There were ones.
Vince, we have this really talented female start who's going to come up to your main roster. She's a fucking killer. She's really goddamn good. She's been our champion forever. She's going to dominate. Well, who is she? Her name is Shayna. Here she is. God damn it, get her a mask. Like that's the jokes we made, because that's how scummy he was.
One of my favorite things from the old days was when Shayna did come up, and their first thing, she like bit Becky Lynch on the back. She was
a vampire for a month,
and everybody thought they were going to make her a vampire. I'm like, they're not going to make her a vampire. And thankfully they didn't. Thankfully they didn't. But yeah, it's competition is healthy. It's more jobs for wrestlers, which is a good thing. It's more places for people to make a name for themselves, and it's been a net positive for WWE. Who is the biggest star in WWE now? Cody Rhodes, and he fine-tuned and he honed that character in AEW, and it was a huge win for WWE because that character fit better there. But he honed that character in WWE.
Punk's killing it too. Punk is killing it.
And you can't tell me if he jumps in like 2030 or whenever that MJF isn't going to be huge if he goes to WWE too.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I don't hate a move if someone's at a place for 2, 3, 4, 5 years and there's nothing more you can do there. It's not a knock, or they're leaving your favorite place to go to the other place. It's good for us. Like, realistically, we're going to get into this one right now because it just segues perfectly. Cross right now is a free agent.
Maybe
some people are saying it's a work.
I kind of believe it's a goddamn work.
You're in the work camp.
I think I'm in the work camp.
Yeah, but Cross, if he were to go to AEW, that's a lot of good matchups. So give me Cross versus Mox. We get Cross at Bloodsport. I mean, we're kind of already can get Cross at Bloodsport because of that GCW WWE relationship, but give me Cross versus Hangman. There's a lot of good matches in AEW with Cross that I would love. Cross versus Swerve. Like, I would love to see that matchup. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff over there that I would love to see Cross do. Kevin Owens, if he returns, there's not much I want to see Kevin Owens do in WWE anymore. Like, we've seen it. I would love Kevin just to have it'll never happen, but I would love Kevin to have a couple, maybe a year or 2, 3 year run over in AEW. And it's not because I want him to leave WWE. It's because there's really nothing more for him there. If AJ leaves this year and he wants to do 2 last years in AEW, pump that into my veins. I want to see Kenny versus AJ before he leaves. Like, tons of cool stuff with that. Just want to throw this out real quick. It's kind of a thing. We'll jump back into the Cross, but Copeland over in AEW. I know he had a little bit of a rough run with the injury, but now that Copeland's back and he's doing his thing, we can't get Cope versus John Cena, which would have been a great send-off for Cena's career because that was a big thing. But before he leaves, do we get like a Cope Tanahashi, a Cope Okada? Like there's some good matchups for Copeland over there that he would have never gotten, or we would have dreamed about at one point in time. Tanahashi versus Adam Copeland, like that'd have been insane.
I'm pretty sure Tanahashi's retiring.
That's what I'm saying. But before he hangs up the boots, that's a possibility we can see.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see that one, but maybe Okada.
AEW are crazy enough to take that and put on a Wednesday night.
Then again,
you know what I'm saying? Tonight's Fighter Fest. It's a major show for us on a Wednesday. We're gonna give you a fucking Cope versus Dream match. Like, I can see them doing that.
I just wish they would do it with a little bit more of a build. I wish they would do it with a little bit more of a build. They have
Cope Omega,
they tend to feel like WWE plans things out too much, I think, because it just has that canned corporate feel to it. Like SummerSlam was really bad for that. It's just like this, just more. It's always been the McDonald's of wrestling, but it just feels like this is the mechanically separated chicken of professional wrestling. They just threw everything into a meat grinder and put it out in a paste, and they called it SummerSlam.
It was rough.
But AEW is like the opposite. It's like, we're just gonna throw everything. We're gonna throw every third jar in a pot and see what we can cook together. So
see what happens, what sticks.
One has too much structure, one has not enough. I feel it's like Goldilocks and Three Bears. This is too hot, this is too cold. Where's the thing that's just right? And you know what was just right for me? Black and Gold NXT. That was just right. That was good.
That's a hard era to probably recreate. I mean, that was that and Lucha Underground to me are peak wrestling.
Yeah, because at least Lucha Underground knew what it was. Like, as long as you know what you are and you're consistent, I'm okay with it. Like, if you're comedy wrestling, just be consistently comedy wrestling, because then I know I can turn my brain off.
Mystery wrestling's really good too. Do you ever watch that?
I've seen clips.
Congratulations to them. They just raised a shit ton of money and had the world longest wrestling match, 24-hour stream. They did 24-hour match.
I believe it was 21 and change, but yeah, good for them. They've been doing stuff for the Canadian Cancer Society for years, and it's wonderful.
Evil Uno's a gangster. I love him. But going back to Cross, once again, that's up in the debate right now. He has a documentary out. It's tough. Here's the thing. I still have a hard time trusting WWE because I can see the fans really getting behind him, but I still don't think they give a fuck. I don't think they have him in the top slated picture in the company's mindset. I think he's hit his glass ceiling, unfortunately, again, which sucks because I think he's so goddamn talented, and I would love to see him go somewhere where he maybe is a little more of a bigger fish in a pond. I don't even know if AEW is that pond for him.
AEW, it's everybody. Almost everybody gets lost in the shuffle in AEW. Yeah, I've said this from the very beginning of that company's existing. They're very, very good at pushing like 3 people at one time. And everybody else gets lost in the shuffle. Like right now,
I kind of feel like that's WWE too. There's only three or four people really getting giant pushes.
Yeah, that's true. But they only have like 5 matches on a pay-per-view. So it's the 3 people who are getting pushed on Raw and the 3 people who are getting pushed on SmackDown, where a lot of times like half of the AEW pay-per-view card looks like they booked it with a dartboard or a bingo machine.
That kind of happened this Wednesday with we just had Brody King and Bandito win an opportunity to go and wrestle for the tag team, for the number 1 contendership for a tag team against FTR at this pay-per-view. And then Brody goes out in a trios match and he's not even with Bandito. He's with Hologram. And like, it's like, that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah.
They need a little bit of structure and they're sorely lacking structure. Great wrestling, and there's something. I thought the Hangman MJF promo from Dynamite was very good, very good.
I thought it went a little too long for me.
That's fine because it's your main event angle, and it's a hot angle, and you have your number 1 babyface, your number 1 heel. If anything's going to go long, that's the thing that can go long. And I think it's because nobody has really, unless they're going to do a double switch on it, is it was the first time somebody really got one over on MJF in a promo, and I thought that really and outsmarted MJF. Other than I think where AEW really started to lose its way. Like if somebody asked me what was AEW's jump the shark moment, it's a very easy question. It's the Devil storyline. That was when AEW really jumped the shark for me, and I still like it. It's still good. It's wrestling, but it's never been as good as it was before that.
This was the first time since pay-per-view, man. That was peak AEW for me. And then Adam gets hurt, and then they lose the shuffle. And then around that same time too is when they had to do the flip flop with Mox and Punk, and Punk leaving the company. Like peak AEW, but also right as the roller coaster's about to take the dip. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was that All in London was that show. Because I being at that show, him and Joe was so good, and then the main event, and then the opener, and I was like, man, I'm so happy. And then it just everything went wrong.
Yeah.
What are some major storylines, characters? What's either any company that really has your attention that you're like, man, I'm interested in this. I'm maybe if I'm going to tune in next week, I'm just looking forward to maybe seeing this person on my TV. If you want to do one from each company, you can, or you can just tell me your overall.
AEW, I think they're really hitting an emotional high with the Cope or Edge and Christian. We'll just call him Edge and Christian.
Christian's been probably the best thing on AEW for the last 8 months.
Stoke has been great too. Stoke was that promo about not getting any hoes was really good. But then he did the perfect. It's funny because he hates AEW. What he's doing now is like as close to what Jim Cornette was able to do as a manager as anybody has done in a long time. Like he is great at being that Weasley guy that you can't wait to see the babyface beat the hell out of him. And then the only thing I would have done, I know they did the interference thing. I would somehow had a Stoke escape with a win over Copeland. That would
I do love how he came in the ring and still would like. Sometimes managers in the independent scene or people who are not normally in the ring as often will take like a big finisher, and then their team kind of gets the upper hand and they pop right up and start beating him down. Like Stoke didn't do that. He never looked. Mm-hmm. He took 2 spears and he sold them to the back, even though they left him laying. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's what you need to do. You're not a professional wrestler. You're a manager. When you get hit, you should be dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I always think of what Bobby Heenan said. Bobby Heenan said his philosophy, and he's the greatest manager of all time. His philosophy was always, I manage like a wrestler and I wrestle like a manager. So he would bump like a pinball and really be animated and intense when he managed. But when he wrestled, he was a coward and he was a chicken and he would try to get out of it. And that is exactly what Stoke did. And Stoke has been very entertaining for me. Very, very.
I want a figure with that wrestling gear with the rainbow shoulder like tracksuit. Yeah. I want that in a figure. Yeah.
WWE wise, I'm trying to think. I've mainly only been really watching Raws, like SmackDown, like here and there. I really thought SummerSlam Punk and Gunther stood out. Punk is.
People did not like that match. People hated it.
Well, I have a different opinion.
I liked it. I honestly like the element of Gunther seeing his own blood and just having an energy dump, because that legit happens in fights. Like you could be a badass and then you see your own blood and then you panic. And I like that element of Gunther where he's seen his own blood and he just turned into a boy. And Punk had that fighter opportunity where he's like, I love that element of the fight. I thought that was brilliant. I didn't like how commentary kept selling the nose when he was clearly bleeding from the forehead, but that element of Gunther being human because he's seen his blood and Punk able to capitalize. I thought they told a really good story.
And I wasn't crazy about their new direction, but I have been thoroughly entertained by the New Day lately. Xavier was his big hat was great.
I think the New Day and the Young Bucks are killing it as tag teams. I think they're fun to watch.
Yeah, the Young Bucks thing is very clever. Very clever. I love the Mac a few weeks ago, Max and Jeremy. That was a deep cut, and even the people in the crowd are like, because I think Taz was in TNA at the same time. So the context behind that, if you don't know, when Hogan took over and Bischoff took over TNA around that time, the Young Bucks were there, but they were called Generation Me. And their names were Max and Jeremy Buck. Like that was the name. That were their ring names. They weren't Matt and Nick Jackson. So that was a callback to that. That's been very fun. But I think the runway is approaching where it might kind of get a little stale. But then again, I thought that about Tony Storm, and Tony Storm's still very entertaining, and has been consistently for over a year now somehow, or almost 2 years now.
When Mox went into the back to get the Young Bucks for his team for the tag team, and they're just 2 random dudes sitting there, and he's like, get the fuck out. And you're like, who are those dudes? Like, everyone's like, who are they? And then they pan the buck. I'm like, oh, they're in the jobber locker room. They're just 2 jobbers. Like, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I liked it. Yeah,
it's been very clever. It's been very fun, and some of the little things like that with the New Day have been fun too. They'll yell stuff out in the back. The giant hat is a lot of fun. There was one thing a few weeks ago on Raw where Dom, when he was doing the whole thing where he was injured and kind of ducking AJ Styles, and he ran for something. And he's like, how are you doing that? And he's like, it's the adrenaline in my soul. Like little things like that are fun. Like little things Dom's like that are so fun.
Dom might be a world champion in AAA and an IC champion.
That would be something. Yeah, the Triple Mania is this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's killing it. He's killing it.
So you're gonna
He's
get to see
killing it.
Dom. You're gonna get to see Mr. Iguana. You're gonna get to see La Yesca.
I'll start in AEW. I love the Young Bucks thing. I love this three-way thing we're going on with Mercedes, Athena, and Toni Storm. I think Athena's finding herself more as a character now that she's bouncing off the three. Where it pretty much, it's pretty clear that Athena's probably going to dethrone Toni, and then Athena is going to then later on down the road get dethroned by Mercedes, and Mercedes is probably going to lose her title at the next pay-per-view because it's a 4-way, so she can lose and not get pinned type deal. And Athena and Mercedes will probably have really good chemistry and a good match, so I don't hate that at all. The MJF kind of being this character, but also he has the briefcase is always super interesting to me. I'd love to see Athena as a world champion. I'm really pumped for that. Anytime Swerve's on T, I'm into it. I think a Swerve Okada for Forbidden Door is going to be awesome.
Absolutely, that would be a great match.
Yeah. On the WWE side, I like Charlotte and Bliss as a tag team. I think they're super fun to watch. I like how they're both really dominant singles competitors, and now they're doing this frenemies thing. And I think it's a great way to kind of give Charlotte a babyface rub, and it's working. I think the idea of that team is doing really well.
See, my MVP of WWE's women's division in 2025 is on the other side of that feud. Is Chelsea Green is so entertaining.
Oh, Chelsea's killing it. I love
Chelsea Green is amazing. She's
a superstar. I will also say on the WWE side, I love Seth Rollins' team. I think they're super entertaining. I think Bronson has really found his own, being that like I'm the future, but I'm behind the guy right now. Not Bronson, Braun Breaker. Yeah. I love Bronson stealing Roman's shoes every time he gets a hold of them.
It's been very clever with the whole tribal thief thing and the shoe of Fala.
Yeah, it's good. I want to see, so minus the dance spot at SummerSlam when they did the whole dance thing when they got in the ring, which I fucking hated. I thought that was a really good tag team match. I thoroughly enjoyed, minus that spot. I thought overall they all had great chemistry. I thought Bronson and Braun are really good. I think Roman works well with both those guys. I want to see Roman in a singles with both of them.
They took a little too long to get to the hot tag, but it was a good match.
I still think Jay needs to go back with his brother. The solo Jay thing is not doing it for me. And
he's very over. He's very over. That helps. He's very, very over. But
trying to think what else.
There's still money in the Usos reunion.
Punk, give me Punk all day long.
If Jimmy's not going to be on paternity leave soon, that's There's a lot of speculation about that. People thought the news might drop on that Stephanie McMahon podcast, but they didn't. They didn't say anything about Naomi's. I think it was recorded before Naomi's absence.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I think Tiffy time is kind of done for me. I'm not really feeling her run right now as champion. I'm sure she's doing a great job. I thought her and Jade was better than I expected, but it's just not. It's not there for me.
She feels very miscast as a babyface. It reminds me of when MJF went babyface. Like
agreed.
Like even by the time in All In, it was like they didn't do the MJF babyface turn right, because the closest thing you have to MJF historically is Roddy Piper, and Roddy Piper was at his best as a babyface when they just let him be Roddy Piper to the bad guys. Mm-hmm. Like they should have just let MJF be MJF, but now the people he's going after are the people the crowd doesn't like. Yeah. But instead they kind of softened him a little bit and then did a very quick about face back to a heel when they realized it wasn't working out. And then he's doing great stuff. Like the stuff he's doing is fine. But I don't think he ever really recovered from that. And now I think we are finally getting some steam with him, and Hangman's doing great in his role too.
Yeah. Asuka possibly turning heel, and I think Bailey has turned heel again. I don't think I like.
The rumor is that they're probably going to do Bailey and Asuka against Io and Kairi Sane, which will be great matches.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. With Becky and Seth doing what they're doing, and how Seth is very locked into CM Punk, do you think there's an opportunity now that it looks like they're teasing that the IC champion is going to be through Becky, like maybe taking on past generation people, where she's going to take on Bella and then possibly Natty's going to go for that title? I think Natty as IC champion is perfect. I think she should be when I think Intercontinental champion, it should be Natty.
I'm surprised she wasn't the first one. I understand they wanted to kind of throw some gas behind Lyra and it worked out, but I'm surprised Natty wasn't the first one.
Do you think AJ and Becky square off because it's just easy booking to do AJ, Becky, Seth, and Cody, Seth and Punk?
If she wants to come back, I think if she was open and she was willing to come back, I think WWE would jump at the opportunity. But it's kind of
that
the
matchup
ball.
that would be a lot of fun to watch.
I think the ball for that is very much in her court.
Yeah. AJ Styles? No. That's funny.
AJ Lee.
Yeah, AJ Lee. And then the last one I have here before we get out of here, and if anyone has any other topics you guys want us to talk about. So here's what we're going to normally do going forward. I'm not going to really push it tonight because tonight is our first night back, but we're going to do a donation goal or a membership goal on YouTube. So anyone, whoever, we're going to do 5 memberships or 5 donations, and whoever the highest donator is, you can join us on screen for a recap of a topic. So if you want to jump in and say, hey, I really want to talk more about this topic you talked about and give my take and then kind of bounce around with each other, that's what we're going to do. The rule is you need to have a camera turned on because I'm not going to bring you on screen with no camera and then you can come and say some crazy stuff and get us disconnected off the internet. And you can come on and do what you got to do. Or you can pose your own question, and that's how we're going to do it going forward. I'm going to be honest, the podcast is expensive to keep going with Canva, with StreamYard, with us editing services and everything we got going on to keep this afloat. It costs money. So any memberships, donations help tremendously. I promise, I feel like I'm not pushing it hard for the donations or the money or t-shirts or whatever it may be. If you want to support, it's there. I feel, and this is just the way I've been since the beginning, I have to earn your respect back as an audience. We have to be consistent again. We have to be here every Thursday for a month to show that we're worth your time.
We might have to do a tape delay one in a few weeks here.
But even if we're doing a taped, I will have, like, even if we're not live on a Thursday, I will personally record something where me and Lily watch a wrestling match and put something out for you guys. So something will be there on a Thursday. You know what I mean? Do you got a link where we could donate?
Unless you want to watch me watching Eagles Cowboys.
Yeah. Donations in my link tree, there are donations that will go to Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, the whole 9, or you can do super chats and donations on the screen. So that would be essentially the way we would do it. But thank you for asking. Also, merchandise is below. You can grab some t-shirts, merchandise, whatever it may be. But the last topic I have for tonight, and if anybody wants to put one in the chat, maybe we'll pick our favorite one. But I want to ask you, BP, The Rock kind of came back, made some storylines, made some things, left. We've got a Cena heel, then back to babyface on a promo. It just looks fucked up. I honestly think the Cena heel was fine. It was good, but I don't think he was committed to it because I think everyone that was supposed to be with him bailed on him, and then we had to rewrite the ship.
And that's basically what his promo said.
Yeah. How do you feel about this Cena retirement run? On a scale of 1 to 10 so far, what do you give it? Where are you at with it?
I'll give it a solid 7.
Okay.
I don't like how they arrived at it, but I do like the fact that we at least got a chance to see that Cena heel run that we never got to see. I'm glad we got to see it. I don't think it was executed particularly well. I think Cena did the best he could. He's one of the all-time great talkers, so he can kind of make anything work to a degree, and he did his best with it. And it did have its moments. The stuff with R-Truth, it had a fun thing with Randy Orton. I really did enjoy the interplay with Punk and Punk doing the rap, or Punk's old school Cena doing the pipe bomb. There are some things that were well thought out and clever and thoughtful. Storyline wise, it didn't make a lot of sense. It was because the story they were telling through their actions is that Cena doesn't think he has it anymore and he needs The Rock to beat Cody. And then his promos are all, I was in a bad 20-year relationship and you fans use me. And that's not like the two didn't coincide.
Yeah.
The two didn't really coincide. And I think
in the chat they say Rock versus Cena is the last match. Do you agree?
Depends on what The Rock wants to do. It's the same thing as AJ Lee. If The Rock wants to do it, I'm sure they would. I don't, unless they do Punk again, or I don't think they'll do Cody again. I think the Brock thing will be done by that point. I don't know who else.
Thank you, Steven, for the $5 super chat. So 4 more, and we'll open it up for the highest bidder. But right now we're at $5. If somebody just wants to do one because you want to let somebody go up on screen, you can donate. But that's where we're at right now. But thank you, Steven, for the $5 super chat.
Unless they're going to have Cena's last match be, I'm going out on my Shield, and you want to use it to make the next generation. In that case, the last guy should probably be Braun Breaker, because it's pretty clear that Braun Breaker is the next guy that's going to get the rocket strapped to his ass. It's pretty clear that that's the case right now, and he's going to probably do very well with it. So if you really want to follow the traditions of pro wrestling, and I do think the traditions of pro wrestling by and large are pretty good, and I think they're there for a reason. One of the strongest traditions in pro wrestling is to go out on your back. Ric Flair went out on his back. Shawn Michaels went out on his back. Hulk Hogan did not go out on his back, but that's Hulk Hogan. Goldberg went out on his back.
Never mind. I was just like, he went out on his back. All right.
Well, in
we all do.
In that respect, we all do. Yeah, we all go out looking at the lights. But if you're going to do that, then it should be Braun Breaker. But if you want the spectacle, if you wanted the big deal, and The Rock's willing to do it, then yeah, why not?
Yeah. It's weird that we got so many Logan Paul matches in this Cena retirement run. That's interesting to me.
Well, WWE is more than ever obsessed with celebrity.
Is Logan Paul your first world champion to win to their celebrity to win a world champion? Because I think he's going to do it.
I could see him win. I could see him win. I don't know if he'll win Cody's belt, but I could see him winning Seth's. Yeah, I could see him win the. I could see him winning the world heavyweight title.
I don't hate him as world champion.
He's a good wrestler, and he's a thing that is not very common anymore. In fact, he's probably the only guy. He's a heel that people genuinely don't like. They're not tongue in cheek. They're not tongue in cheek cheering for him too. Like even Seth Rollins, people love cheering along with the theme song. People dislike Logan Paul.
Yeah. Logan Paul kind of has that vibe of the character I was kind of trying to pin on Ricky Price when we were first doing our rivalry, where like Ricky Price, you hate him because he's good. Like he can hang with anybody. And Ricky's like just has that ability that like a Logan Paul, where like Logan Paul can enter boxing and go against some of the best in the world and hang and maybe not win, but he's going to hang. He's going to give an opportunity to show he can come off the streets with his pure athleticism and God-gifted talents and with top guys in other places. So it makes sense in the WWE aspect that he can come in and do that because he's done it in actual combat sports.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's more like he's just a naturally unlikable person. And I think they really lean into that, and they lean into that well. But yeah, I think it's more of that. But I think part of the thing that gets annoying is like, oh man, he is good. Damn it.
Yeah, it
I
sucks.
hate him even more now.
You want to hate him, but he's good. He's like
his
character's unbelievable. Like, yeah, I love him to death. So we have 2 super chats. I'll give the floor to you. We'll do some independent talk, and if we get to 3 more memberships or donations or whatever it may be, we'll bring one person in. If everyone does $5, then I'll randomly generate one person, or we'll let everyone put their pitch thing in the chat, and we'll pick which one the question we want. We'll do something like that. We're gonna figure it out as we go. But anyway, BP, independent wrestling news. What do you got going on?
I have a lot going on. The next thing I have going on, well, it's not really wrestling. Fightertainment at Pilgaroo Brewing on August 29th. That's going to be 2 weeks from tomorrow, and it's going to be a fun time for a good cause. It's going to be some fights, no rings, not wrestling, none of that.
I'm entering as a participant at Fightertainment. Did you know that?
I did not.
I have been asked to be the ring announcer for Fightertainment. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna. I think it's kind of dope. It's a show that we've kind of been watching for a while, and the fact that they want me to participate and do that, yes. What I might do is, I don't know if they're actually going to do it, but I might bring a commentary setup, just my own, and me and you can just do commentary. And if they want to have it, they can. If they don't want to use it, they can throw it away. But I think it'd be really fun to like just set up a little table with the fans around us. And after I do ring announce, I come over and sit with you and we ring it, like commentate. Maybe I'll even put my own little camera there, and we can, if they let us use the footage or clips of it, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm going to try something.
But the very cool thing is that the entire night is to raise money for Jeff Cannonball.
Yes.
Who is fighting ALS, very, very young. At a very, very young age, he's fighting ALS. He's got a family. He's given a lot to the professional wrestling business. And now it's time for wrestling to give back. And that's one of the cool things is wrestling sometimes is wrestlers are really good. And Tony Deppen has been right at the forefront of this as far as giving back to his friend who is in a time of immense need. So it will be Team Cannonball against Team Fightertainment. It's going to be a fun time. If you're anywhere in or around Pottsville, Pennsylvania, it's going to be worth the price of admission. Our buddy Chuck Horror Prince has made an incredible event poster.
I have the last one he made too.
I do. I have the last one on my wall over here, signed by everybody on it. I have it.
It's right over there.
Yeah, it's signed by everybody on it. Joey Janela and Deppin and.
I do have another announcement when it comes to Speedball stuff. So there is going to be another show in September that will air live on YouTube, I believe Twitch, and it's going to be like some big matches announced. Willow Nightingale versus Tony Deppin announced. Janelle is going to be on the card. MJF will be there, but probably not wrestling. But that'll be a big show.
That's September 14th in Jersey. Yep.
So I have a little bit of announcement when it comes to that show that I'm going to bring to the brewery and give to Tony probably this week. Is I'm making a donation to the Cannonball Foundation, the Cannonball thing. I'm going to give up something that was given to me that I'm very, very, this is my baby. This is my thing. I'm going to donate this. Tony Deppin's going to go out and get some AEW stars to put some things on it and some signatures. And this will be raffled off for someone to win in September in New Jersey. I am donating my AEW championship belt. It was made by Ruda Entertainment. It was the first belt I've ever owned. This is a lot for me to give up. This is my baby. Thank you, Ruda, for giving me this. This is no disrespect to Ruda, but I think helping out Cannonball means more. And I think with all the big names that we're going to be at the September show that are AEW, the people who may be coming to Fightertainment who are AEW people like Speedball and stuff, I think having a bunch of AEW stars to sign this, and then we could raffle it off in September in New Jersey, and the money goes to Cannonball is what I want to do. But yeah, that's my announcement here. So if you want a chance to win this, show up in New Jersey or donate to the live stream, and maybe we can get you in the raffle tickets as well.
Yeah, I believe have they announced Tony's match for that yet? I know they've announced.
Yeah, they announced that.
Okay, I knew them. I know the match, but I didn't know if it was public knowledge or not. I don't want to. I hope it is.
I could have sworn it was announced.
Okay,
I could have sworn I seen it on Facebook.
I'm pretty sure it did. I'm pretty sure they did announce it. But yeah, and then in between those two things, actually the day before that show in New Jersey, Tony Deppin's going to be in my house in PPW. Tony Deppin will be there. We have some stuff we're going to announce that he's going to be doing a little bit earlier in the day. That's going to be very cool. That is tied into raising some money for Jeff Cannonball. But he will be in action first time since I looked this up. I believe since March or May of 2016.
I've never seen Tony Deppin in a PPW ring.
So it's the first time in over 9 years that Tony Deppin has wrestled in a PPW ring. He's coming back. That's going to be a fun time. Aaliyah James, who was formerly of NXT UK, will be there. I think that's all. Chris Slade will be coming back. And as soon as I get off here, I'm gonna give everybody a little advance notice. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to announce that Sassy Boatwright will be back in PPW on September 13th.
Some of the best wrestling gear in the scene. I love Sassy's gear. She always has great gear.
Yeah, absolutely. I
have some promos, BP, that I finished. I can't wait to start airing when you start putting matches out. So last set of promos I liked, but the building was so hot and I was not in a good headspace, and I just didn't feel like I nailed these promos. I can't wait to send them to you. Please give me any feedback. I love a lot of these promos. I think they're great. I cannot wait for people to see them. I love working with Jem. She's my favorite promo.
Jem's phenomenal.
Me and Sammy are building some chemistry. Dio, Rem. And I'm having a lot of fun with Brother Bedlam on promos. Joey Martinez I got a promo with. That one's really cool. I'm proud of that one where I got to use some technology with my new camera. Lots of cool stuff. I cannot wait for you guys to see these promos. And they do really well on Instagram. They do really, really well.
I came backstage and I heard screaming. I thought there was like a real fight going on. And I go behind the curtain and see when Joey Martinez doing a promo.
Yeah. Yeah. Jordan Oliver returned a couple months ago. He's back in GCW. He's cleared.
Yeah.
He's good to go.
I believe he's one half of the GCW Tag Team Champions now, if I'm not mistaken.
He might be.
Or at least he was. I believe he and Alec Price, if they're not still champions, they were champions. Mania weekend, I believe they won the titles back.
Yeah.
He's been wrestling for Super Crazy. He's been Jordo's back at it, and the sky's the limit for that kid because he has all the tools. He has all the tools in the world.
Yeah. So September 13th.
Yes.
The 12th anniversary show, PPW Rise to Glory, will be in Slatington, Pennsylvania. Get your tickets now. Also available on PPW. are these bad boys.
Yes.
The kids of PPW trading cards. A lot of good ones in here. If you get Series 1, there's not as many cards, but they do throw in some autographs. I actually want to share who I got, my 2 autographs. I got a Tom Mitchell auto.
Oh, smooth Tom Mitchell. There you go.
And I got an Encore.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't seen Encore in forever, but I got Series 1 and 2 in the cards. Series 3's coming, possibly even Series 4 already kind of being in the works as well. The kids of PPW cards are flying off the shelf. There's our buddy, Serious Business Sandy Header. But definitely go and get these online or get them at the door.
One of those cards in particular has been flying off the shelf. We have a hot seller.
Which one's that?
The Brother Bedlam card is doing very well.
Really?
Yeah, the Brother Bedlam card is doing very well. I love that.
Dude, he's kayfabe killing right now, but he's such a good dude, and he's working so hard.
No, he's a vicious monster. He's a vicious monster.
He's a scumbag. But he did the promo back with me, and he was putting a character voice on, and I kind of told him, I said, man, like, you don't have to be what you look like. Like, you could be the articulate Charles Manson. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can, and he did a different promo this week, and I liked it a lot. I thought he brought something different, but he was still vicious and angry. And like, I'm really pumped for a lot of people to see. I'm very proud of what I've been doing backstage. And last show, I'm really, I got so many interviews. I got extras. I only missed one. I missed one goddamn interview. I didn't get one person.
It'll be okay. Brother Bedlam is the guy you want to, on the independent circuit, you want to buy stock in, because he
works really hard.
He's a very hard worker. Really hard. He has really inhabited that character. I will kind of peek out from behind the curtain. He's really inhabited that character. He's putting it all together, and the nose of the plane is going up for Brother Bedlam. You're going to hear a lot about him in the future.
I will say this too. I got to watch her work now 2 weekends in a row, and I feel like I've been watching her for a while on the scene, grinding, doing her thing, and she had a match against Riley Crow at WTW, where I just got to do in my hometown here, which is really exciting. And then she just wrestled Sammy Chaos. Nahir Robles is putting the pieces together. Her in-ring is getting good. I thought her and Riley beat the garbage out of each other. Really good, strong style fight. And the same thing with her and Sammy. They brought a fight this time. Like, Nahir's really putting it together. She's finding herself. She's doing some cool stuff on the scene. So major props to Nahir Robles for doing. I've just been really proud of her, and she's been working her ass off.
Yeah, I think they had a very inventive finish in that match. I thought the finish was very cool.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, she had to run on the buzzsaw that is Sammy Chaos.
Yeah.
She beat her once, but it's very hard to beat Sammy Chaos.
BP, I'm just gonna kind of put this out there now. You being in the PPW backstage role, I think because the first guy became a wrestler, and then you became the booker, and now I'm back there as nothing more than a backstage guy. But because the people know we're buddies and we do this podcast, people think I have a say, and people are yelling at me for their bookings, and they're coming at me at promos, BP. And I'm gonna be honest, Gem is going to kill me. She gets these big wins, she's excited, and then I have to be the one to tell her that they already had something announced for Sammy later, and you're gonna get me killed back there. You're gonna get me beat up.
I gotta get you some hazard pay.
It's out of control. She's down my throat. I got people calling each other out. It's mayhem back there.
It's mayhem everywhere. It's indie wrestling, baby. It's indie wrestling. But we have a lot of fun things planned, and that's what it's all about. Just having some fun with it.
I think we'll wrap it up there. Steven or Brandon, because you guys donated, if you guys want to put a question in the chat or a topic that maybe we could touch on real quick. We were expecting to go almost 2.5 hours tonight, but I think we got through the topics really, really well. We'll extend it a little more. So Steven and Brandon, if you want to put a comment in there or a plug or anything like that, put it in there for your donations. We want to reward you for doing so. We're not going to bring you on camera tonight, but if you want to put something in the chat, we will acknowledge you. And also any questions. It could be independent. It could be any wrestling topic question, whatever it may be. Also, another thing we're going to do in the future is we're going to do drafts. We're going to do some fun drafts. So maybe you guys can pick drafts too with donations. If you have a donation, you could pick our draft. And this way I'm not prepared for the draft and he's not prepared for the draft. So it's on that spot and we pick, and then you guys pick who you think has the better list. You could do best wrestling t-shirts, best wrestling music, best wrestling, you know what I mean? Like whatever it may be. That'll be coming up in future episodes as well.
It's not fair if I prepare for the draft. I'm like Howie Roseman if I prepare for the draft.
It's already fucking hard enough here. But other Tornado Talk content you guys can expect is maybe throughout the week, if nothing's going on, or a weekend or a Sunday and there's nothing going on, maybe Sunday night or Saturday night, no pay-per-views, no wrestling bookings, I might just pop live on. So I'll have your post notifications turned on over on YouTube, and I'll just have an open panel, and I'll have people come up and we'll talk topics, and whatever ones are really interesting, we'll bring to Thursdays for you guys to chat well. So we'll have like hang out with ABJ Tornado Tag editions. Also, I'm going to be doing some content where I'm going to pick some independent people, watch their matches and do watch alongs. And then you guys can go back and rewatch the match with me and play their YouTube video and watch it with me as we do it. Or maybe we'll do full old shows like our old ROH shows or independent wrestling shows, GCW. So be on the lookout for a lot of watch along content. I know it's not the best live, so I'm not going to post them live. I'm going to say, hey, this is a pre-recorded, this is a watch along episode. To go to this link, go to this place. If you're subscribed, go here. In 3, 2, 1, hit play, and then you watch the show with us, and we do watch along content. I'm going to be doing it with BP. I'm going to be doing it with Lily because Lily's brand new to wrestling, so there's some old matches I would love for her to watch and have that new face, or maybe watching it with her and her daughter because it's just fun, But
Right.
That's some content to look forward to as well. Brandon says, thanks. I just want to say thanks for having wrestling be fun again. I love the draft. My question would be, who has been your most favorite moment being a part of PPW? I think I already know Brian's answer.
I wonder if we have the same one here.
I think I know yours.
You almost definitely know mine.
Yeah, mine's a different experience.
All right. So yeah, mine is
I have like 3. Oh,
mine is definitely the is from last year. It is when Rembrandt stole Christmas. It was putting Rembrandt in the Santa suit, having him just to go behind the scenes of this. My concern with this, the logistical concern with this, is a lot of times when those shows would end, people would immediately head for the exits. And nowadays, luckily, people are heading for the exits and buying tickets. We had an incredible pre-sale for September 13th. Incredible pre-sale. The PPW crowd is amazing. Like, they are so loyal, so supportive, and they keep coming back.
And they're built off the back of the roster and not the name coming in.
By their support. But for this one, we were kind of still building that up. And the guy that was really instrumental in building PPW into what it is now and kind of reinventing PPW over the last 9 months is Rembrandt. And this was the night it happened. And Rembrandt has been such an important, vital cog in this. And this is when he made it happen. And I'll take credit. The idea was mine. The idea was mine. I'll take credit for that. So it started with a challenge. It started with a challenge of Money in the Bank's been done to death. We call it golden ticket, whatever you want to call it. The cash in has been done to death. Nobody can do something new. Nobody can do something with the cash in that hasn't been done before. And I said, challenge accepted. So. And this has been done before in other ways, just not with a Money in the Bank briefcase. So, if you go into we go into it, and we want to do it in December, but logistically it didn't work because our champion wasn't available. Facade was a champion at the time, and he had a prior commitment in December, so we had to do it in November. So he's wrestling Brad Baylor, who was fresh off of being named to the WWE ID program, and that's the main event of the show. Rembrandt was in the show earlier in the night. And so what we did was we had Rembrandt, and we introduced the Santa suit because Travis Norbert and his commission lost a match to Chris White and his team. So Travis then in December had to wear a Santa suit. He had to wear a Santa suit. So he was given the Santa suit that night. And then we even filmed something in the back, and the recording got a little jacked up because of some noise issues. We had to use stills of Rembrandt taking the Santa suit from Travis. So we had a through line here. We had Rembrandt dress up like Santa, run outside the building because we didn't want him going through the crowd, because we wanted the crowd goes out through the main exit, which is on the other side of the building from the entranceway. We had him run around the building with the Santa suit in his bag, come in through the front, go into this little office area that's behind where they take the tickets, and dress up like Santa in there. So he's coming out from there. He's coming through the crowd, leaving. Comes in with his Santa sacks, Facade's in the ring dancing, and here comes Santa Claus. Rembrandt beats him over the back of the head with the Santa sack. And this is on YouTube. I don't know the exact high voltage it's on, but it's on our YouTube at PPW Entertainment.
Yeah.
shakes out the briefcase or shakes out the Santa sack. Out comes the briefcase. Gives Facade REM sleep 1, 2, 3. It is still my favorite thing I've ever booked, and it's going to be hard to top. It's going to be hard to top.
For me. Mine is my time in commentary in PPW means a lot to me. That's where I feel like I really got a lot of good reps. I got to do some cool stuff. I got to call names that were on TV that were making their first appearances on TV on the independent scene since leaving major companies. I got to call Bobby Fish cross matches, Bronson Reed matches.
Oh, there you go. By the way, the latest thing we uploaded to the PPW Entertainment YouTube is Killer Kross against Davey Richards. Okay. All right. Sorry.
So one of my favorite matches on commentary or moments was and it sucks because it not sucks, but he's in 2 of them, but he eventually had a little bit of issues with getting canceled and doing things. But Davey Richards versus Casey Navarro was unbelievable. Our referee got kicked in the face during a kick out and his head split open, and the referee is bleeding buckets, and it's wet and it's hot and it's disgusting. And the crowd, after a whole night, and back in the day, PPW in Broadheadsville had some pretty long cards and a lot of peaks and valleys. So make it to the end,
too long. They're still a little too long.
Yeah, and had a lot of peaks and valleys, and it was tough to keep a crowd to the end. But Casey and Davey Richards put on one of my favorite matches on the independent wrestling scene, and it blew my socks off. And just being on commentary and just giving the energy that I was feeling, I left there heat exhausted because I just felt like I put so much energy into that match. But yes, Killer Kross match is on PPW. When there's stuff that's on PPW that I am on and they isolate like that, and I see it, I'm gonna start tagging it in my wrestling commentary folder, because I have a whole folder on my YouTube channel that will take you to other links where you can listen to me on commentary do things. And so that's on there right now. Please go watch Killer Kross versus Davey Richards. Great match. Kross is one of the coolest people I got to work with. But yeah, and then the other question is, I'm new to PPW. What are some matches to check out? I'll start with this one. The 2 I just said are really good. Christina Marie versus Mercedes Martinez was a fantastic match.
I'm not sure if that's on YouTube or not.
I thought it might have been, but
it may be.
Not, yeah.
It may have been before I got control of the YouTube. So
there's a lot on YouTube. There's a lot on there. Yeah, there's a lot. You're gonna have to dig for it. VSK versus Brian Kendrick was a really good match too. I just remember that being good. Was it PCO versus Bronson Reed, or was it PCO versus Alpha?
PCO and Bronson Reed both wrestled Alpha, I believe.
Because I remember PCO just doing crazy shit. Like
I believe he worked Alpha.
Yeah, that one was nuts. PCO did some insane shit in that one. That was a good one to watch. And I'm not trying to just pick big names, because that's not honestly. Rembrandt and Cosmic versus Tessa Blanchard and Adina Steele was a pretty fun match. I like that one a lot. Lots of good stuff. You can't go wrong with any of them.
Just to answer Brandon's question in the chat, Diego Hill and VSK is not on YouTube yet. PPW actually does have, and this is one of the coolest things. This is the coolest part of my job there, is I have helped bring back their TV show. It's a very small TV station in Pennsylvania, WYLN. Like I know around here, you can only really get it if you have Service Electric Cable. I think it's on some other cable systems. It's in Scranton. There's a little bit of Allentown it's on. But WYLN gets stuff first, and then it trickles out to YouTube. I try to put some of the stuff on YouTube, not all of it.
I got recognized one time in Hazleton when I used to do like the backstage stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Remember when we used to do those things where at the end of the show or during the pandemic when I'd say, hey, this is a great match you should check out. And we had a couple of those. I got recognized in like a pizza shop. Like, I seen you on TV. You were on the wrestling thing. And I was like, that's crazy.
There's somebody that works at a Dollar Tree near me that recognizes me from wrestling. She comes all the time. Awesome. So I that will be coming up in the near future. Probably next week, we're going to be putting some stuff up from our this weekend's TV is going to be the last of the stuff from our show in July, Power to the People. It's going to be a very good show, though. That episode, and I will put it up in its entirety on YouTube, is going to have. Let me make sure I get this right. That
you put the full cards up, or do you cut everything apart?
I cut it up into one. I have to cut it up into a 45-minute and 50-second long TV show.
Gotcha.
the full cards we're trying to build up some watch hours on that YouTube so we can do some memberships. Maybe we'll do live shows or very soon after we'll have them out there. But this episode coming up is going to feature, let me get this right. It's going to feature JS Hawthorne and Precious against Andy Header and Devious Cass. That was a fun match. It's going to feature one of the golden ticket 4-ways with Malik Del Vante, Too Smooth Sean Smith, Al De Niro, and Chris Slade. That was a very good match. And then the main event is going to be Sugar Dan Stavko and Milo Mira, which was on its. I mean, there's a little bit of a. You can tell in the match there's a little bit of something that happened there that maybe wasn't the way we drew it up, but they all bounced back very well.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff. Go support PPW Wrestling on YouTube.
PPW Entertainment.
PPW Entertainment on YouTube. All social media. Stay in the loop of what's going on over there. Follow me on social media because I post a lot of the backstage stuff, which has been helping me out tremendously. You guys have been loving it. I think I hit like almost 60K in views this last month just from posting promos backstage. So love it. Getting a lot of eyes. People are coming up to me and saying they're buying tickets because they like the promos and they like hearing the stories. It is a little challenging. Like, I'm not really doing promos in the style of what you would see on weekly television because I am more or less catering them to the social media side. So I am very long-winded in talking about the entire storyline and then leading into the question, which I know is not normally how backstage is done. But if someone's never seen anything PPW, they could watch one promo and get the entire storyline with me and then letting the wrestler do his thing. And I think people are really, really responding well to it.
Yeah, that was my home for a long time. That promo area, that was my inroad there. So it's but it's something where like and I'm very grateful for you to kind of have commandeered that and taken it and made it your own because I just don't have the time to do it anymore.
It's a lot, and you don't see any. It is. I don't know how you would book and then do the backstage.
I would have to watch the entire show back the next day because I
you don't see anything. I don't see any of the show. Maybe I'm lucky and I could sneak out and see the end of a match I walk through to get a water or something.
It was nicer in Broadheadsville because it was air conditioned. We were in the Zumba room, so it was air conditioned, so that made it a lot easier.
Rough. It's rough.
Yeah, but hopefully with the September rolling around, it's not going to be too bad for the rest of the year. But no, it is a rough job. It can be a thankless job, but it is an integral part of the operation, and it does allow me to kind of be brother love. Be brother love.
It's tough. It's tough. It's hard. It's not easy to do, and it's not something I'm normally comfortable with, but I've been really finding my own with it and having a good time doing it. So I appreciate having.
Oh yeah, the first time I did it, I was like terrified. I'm like, I'm not gonna be good at this. I don't want to be in front of the camera. And then the third person I ever interview is Brian Kendrick, and I'm like, what am I even doing here? Why am I interviewing Brian Kendrick?
I think my first promos were the night Nana was there, so I did get a name my first time backstage.
Yeah, my first interview was Brian Kendrick, and then, but luckily Brian is so easy to work with and so laid back and put me at ease, and he was wonderful.
We'll close out with this, just one last PPW thing and get you guys out of here. But huge thank you once again to Nick Camarado for coming in. Really nice guy. Super, super nice guy. A great conversation to work with. Selfless. Looks like he can be a Kelsey brother in person.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he looks like Jason Kelsey. He looks just like him.
Yeah.
Really, really nice guy. Very insightful. Told me a lot of things that I will never repeat on this podcast because it's definitely inside baseball when it comes to places. But very, very nice guy. If you have a chance to meet him and he's on the scene, go support the guy. He's working his ass off. I didn't know he's actually collegiate wrestler. Like, he's a really good collegiate college wrestler, did really good for himself there. And I just thought he was kind of one of those guys that WWE brought in because of his wrestling and he was first in NXT.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
WWE brought him in first, and then he went to AEW because WWE came in and Vince looked at what was going on down there and just said, and he cut 90% of the people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately he was one of them, but, yeah, he's. I think he's doing some stuff on GCW. You'll see him there. But very nice guy. Yeah, very nice guy. Super cool. If you get a chance to meet him, go talk to him. He's really cool, and he's a genuine wrestling fan. Like he has a good head on his shoulders, and you can talk wrestling with him. He's not like he's
even just pinpointed what I said when I saw him. He's Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. That was the first thing I thought. I thought.
Super
Frederick
nice guy.
W. Polowatsky.
Definitely support him. Excited to meet Aaliyah James next month. Unfortunately, she's going to get squashed by Sammy Chaos. I don't care. It is what it is. But we'll see you guys next time. Next Thursday. Next Thursday is a football game, right?
No.
All right. So next Thursday we will be back.
That's like
covering wrestling. If you guys want to come see us one of these weekends, I'm sure we'll be at Pilgrim Brewing Company, cracking some beers, talking some wrestling, watching TV, watching wrestling shows there. Do you have any ideas for content things you want us to cover or matches you want me to watch? Always there. Follow us on all social media. We'll see you next time. We're out of here. Bye.